You may be wondering why I played that song. Because I remember in a situation at the lowest time of my life, I put on my radio trying to drown out what was happening. And that song came on. That was the first time I ever heard that song, and it came on. And it really spoke to what I was going through. Talking about just fight a little longer, my friend. It's all worth it in the end. Again, my name is Garhett Adams. Inmate number 431531, state ID number 3869982, cell block CB 614, Jessup Correctional Institute.
My God.
It's a number I'll never forget because they drilled it in my head every single day. You don't have names in prison. They don't come knock on your cell door and say, what's your name? No, they come and knock on the door, what's your number? 431531 was what my name was for 5.5 years. But I grew up in a place just like this. In church my entire life. As a matter of fact, my father is a pastor. My grandfather was president of one of the regional conferences for Seventh-day Adventists. Grew up in church my entire life. And I remember sitting in the same place that many of you are sitting right now and telling myself, I'll never be where that person is. Or I'll never do what that person did. Or I would see people stand up here and give their testimonies about different things that they had been through, different situations they had gone through, drug addiction and things about it like that. And I remember sitting there telling myself, well, it's all good. I'll never be there. I'll never do that. But based on the choices that you make, you will find yourself doing some things that you told yourself you'd never do, saying some things that you told yourself you'd never say, and in some places that you told yourself you'd never be in, simply because of the choices that you make. A lie that we often tell ourselves, I am a product of my environment. That's a lie. You are the product of your decisions. You are not the product of your environment, you are the product of your decisions. I don't care what neighborhood you grow up in, where you live, who your parents were. Your life is dictated by your decisions. Nothing more, nothing less. I want y'all to do me a favor and repeat after me and say this like you mean it. Say, I am somebody. Because God says I am somebody. I am somebody. Because God says I am somebody. And had I understood that, I may not have made some choices that I made. Had I understood that I am somebody, simply because God says I'm somebody, maybe I might not have gone down the path that I ended up going down. See, I had a lot of really bad self-esteem problems growing up. Used to get picked on a lot. And so I always wanted to have friends. Who the heck doesn't? I always wanted to be liked. Nobody likes walking around all the time feeling like everybody hates you. Who doesn't want to have friends? But I became so focused on being liked and having friends that I began to compromise my own morals and compromise the things that I knew in my heart were right and wrong just so I could be liked by everybody else. And it didn't really help that I was a pastor's son either. When people out doing wrong, they ain't necessarily aching to have the pastor's kid around. So that was something else to add to the list. And so I just wanted to have friends. I just wanted people to like me. Simple as that. And I started to compromise. How many of you know about Pine Forge Academy? Went there for 4 years. Graduated top of my class. Ended up with a full ride to college. Academic. Full ride to school. And messed it all up because of my choices. See, my desire to be liked, my desire to have friends, caused me to compromise my judgment, compromise that which I knew was right. And I justified it by telling myself, it's not that serious. See, that's how the enemy works. He makes you think that it's not that big a deal. It's not that deep. But the enemy never stops. He's never content with just a little bit of you. He may start with just that little bit, but he's going to keep going and going and going until he gets all of you. I had a preacher that once told me, he said, if you give the devil an inch, he'll become your ruler.
My Lord.
He's never content with just a little bit. So you give him that little bit, he's going to want more and more and more, and it's going to keep going until you give it to him. And so I thought it wasn't a big serious deal for me and my friends to go smoke a black and mild.
My Lord.
It's just a black and mild. It's not that deep. Ain't that serious. I'm not even getting high. It's not even that big a deal. And this is what I told myself. It's not that deep. It's not that I ain't hurting nobody. It's just a black and mild. Told myself it wasn't that serious. But what I had done by me compromising, telling myself it wasn't that big a deal, I had just opened myself up for something bigger. Because sooner or later, we wasn't just smoking black and miles. Oh, then we went on to weed. Oh, but I told myself, that ain't a big a deal neither. That ain't that deep. That ain't that serious. You know the little lie that we all tell ourselves to try and justify it? It's a plant. It ain't no drug. It's natural. It grows in the ground. You know what Cat Williams said? He said, it's a plant. It comes in the ground. He said, and if you just so happen to set it on fire, there are some effects. And I justified it in my mind. I ain't hurting nobody. It's not like I'm getting addicted to the stuff. Who gets addicted to weed? Nobody gets addicted to weed. Justifying it in my mind. Nobody ODs on weed. You ain't never heard nobody ODing on weed.
True.
See, these are the things I'm telling myself to justify it in my mind.
The devil is a liar.
It's not that serious.
The devil be lying to people.
But see what I did, I compromised yet again. And again, opened myself up to something bigger. Because it doesn't ever just stop there. It never just stops there.
More and more.
And you know, sometimes we justify our actions or our drug use by classifying it as majors and minors. You know, so we'll say like, okay, heroin and cocaine and things like that, those are major drugs. Those are the big boys. But you know, weed and whatever else, that ain't, you know, that's a little minor thing. That ain't nothing big. That's a minor drug. Think about this though. Ask anybody that is on a major drug what they started with to begin with.
Very true.
9 times out of 10, most of the ones who are on the majors started with the minors. 9 times out of 10, most of the ones who are on heroin, cocaine, crack started with stuff that they thought wasn't that big of a deal until that wasn't good enough. And I can testify that that's true because it eventually wasn't good enough for me. Eventually, we got to start adding stuff to boost the high. We got to throw pills in the mix. We got to throw alcohol in the mix. To be honest with you, there's really no reason I should be alive right now. Not from the drug use, well that too, but because under those conditions, I'd be drunk, high, on pills, smoke weed, and drunk all at the same time and try to drive home. I'm going 70 miles an hour down 95 trying to get home and passed out in the middle of the highway. Passed out. Blacked out. Don't remember anything. But the next morning I woke up still strapped in the driver's side with my car parked in my driveway. And I don't care what anybody wants to tell me, that was nothing but Jesus that guided that car to get my car back home. Because I don't remember getting there.
Angels.
I don't remember anything happening after I passed out down 95. There were times when I would stop at stoplights and tell myself, again, I'm drunk high and on pills and whatever else, and tell myself, well, I'm going to just close my eyes for just a little bit. And would go out at the stoplight for about 45 minutes.
Wow.
And when I would wake up, my car would be drifting through the intersection.
Wow.
Could have lost my life.
Many a times.
There were many a day where I would be walking around and pass out in random places. Anything could have been done to me, could have lost my life, been robbed, anything. And I kept telling myself, well, I got this under control. I could quit any time. And so I was at Washington Adventist University in Tacoma Park, but my mother is a big Oakwood fan. Oh, Lord.
Got another one back there.
And so she wanted me to go to Oakwood. I want you to go, that was the college she graduated from. I want you to go here. I want you to, experience it, this, that, and the third. I was like, Ma, no, I'm not really beat to go out to Alabama. She just kept nagging and nagging and nagging until I said, okay, fine, I'll go for a semester. But on the way down to Oakwood, down to Alabama, I remember I had told myself, you know what, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to get everything together. I'm going to leave the drugs alone, leave the drinking alone, but I'm going to go down here and I'm going to really focus on my grades. You know what I'm saying? I'm really going to knuckle down and do what I got to do as far as my grades are concerned. The first day that I'm there, my roommates come in, or one of my roommates comes in, and he was like, hey man, what's going on? Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is such and such. I ain't gonna put the brother name out there. My name is such and such. I was like, we dapped up, nice to meet you, just, that whole thing. First question out his mouth. Hey, yo, you smoke? I was like, nah, man, nah. I was like, nah, I don't smoke.
The devil know where to
First
find.
mistake I ever made, biggest mistake I made was as he was walking out the door, I turned around and was like, why?
The devil.
He was like, nah, we just about to go out, about to go smoke a jam with a few of my friends. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and join you. He was like, I thought you said you didn't smoke. I lied. Back on it again. So the days that I'm supposed to be at chapel, the days I'm supposed to be at class, where do you think I am? I'm all getting high somewhere, skipping class, skipping chapel, skipping church. The days we were supposed to be at church, I'm off at a hotel room with me and my homeboys because he was selling weed, so I'm over there. He bagging up, doing whatever he doing.
My Lord.
So we over there while we supposed to be at church. We in the hotel room getting high, getting drunk.
My God.
And when we were up there, we had literally been getting high and getting drunk the entire day. And I can tell you, because I remember exactly what we had. I remember exactly what we had. We had a whole bottle of 1800.
I don't know what
We
that
had a bottle of Ciroc.
Look at brick face.
We had, what else did he have? He had some other type of tequila. We're mixing that with energy drinks. We're doing all type of crazy stuff.
My God.
And getting high all at the same time. Then we get the brilliant idea, well, let's go to a party tonight. Go to the party, guess what they're doing? More drinking, more smoking. My man who was with me, anybody that knows me knows I really don't like people driving my car. I just don't trust other people driving my car, except my wife. Love you, babe. I really don't trust other people driving my car. But that day, I was so smashed that I threw the keys to my man and said, yo, you're going to have to drive. I can't even remember. At that point, I couldn't even remember my last name. So we get to the party. I told the man, do not leave me. I cannot drive right now. No, I got you, man. I got you. Go ahead and have a good time. Of course, about an hour later, police come, break up the whole party, kicking people out. So we all rushing out the door. First of all, to be underage. So we all busting out the door. I'm looking around. Can't find my money. I had another guy with me. I gave him the keys. Said, hey, listen, man, you're going to have to drive. He was like, bro,
I don't know.
I can't drive stick.
Oh my gosh.
I had a manual. So I was sitting there and I told myself, we were literally a mile away from the campus. A mile away. The apartments were a mile away. And I told him, I said, you know what? We're going to attempt to get back to the school. I probably made it 100 feet before I passed out. When I came to, I remember distinctly my nose was itching. And I went to go scratch my nose, but for some reason I couldn't lift my arms. So I kept trying to pull my arms and then realized both my hands were behind my back and they were handcuffed. I looked at my man next to me and he was just shaking his head. I passed out again.
Gosh.
When I woke up in my bed. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. So I picked up the phone, called my man, and said, yo, what happened? He said, brother, I don't know what type of black magic you got working for you. He said, but the officer let you go.
He knew your dad.
He said, your crazy behind was volunteering information this man didn't even ask. He was like, as soon as he pulled up, the first thing out your mouth, yes, officer, I'm drunk. Yes, officer, I'm underage. Yeah, we just came from a party down the way. Yes, I've been getting high all night.
He's snitching.
He was like, you sitting there telling the man stuff he ain't even asked you.
Snitched on
He
his
was
whole
like,
self.
what he did, he said he put us in the car, said he searched the car, and then he let us go. You know, now smart people probably would have had this situation and said, you know what? The Lord trying to tell me something. Maybe I need to chill out. Do you think I chilled out?
No.
Oh, I ain't learned my lesson. No, I ain't learned my lesson at all.
Watching.
You know, a little bit earlier, I heard somebody over here say when I was talking about all the liquor and the weed and all this other crazy stuff that I'm doing, she was like, that's expensive. Exactly right. And that's where my problem came in. It was expensive. Ain't nobody out there giving away free. It became expensive. It did. And you know, sooner or later, my little excuses as for why I needed money wasn't cutting it no more. You know, I lied for a little while. Hey, listen, I need to put gas in the car. Hey, listen, I need to go buy some toiletries. I need to go get this, that, and the third.
Caleb was the biggest liar.
See, you know, I tried to disguise it that way, and I'm not putting money in the car. Not going to go buy what I need to buy. I'm spending this all on drugs, drinking, hotel rooms, or whatever else. That's what we do. So eventually, they cut off my money supply. And they said, listen, bro, we just sent you all this money before. Where is this stuff going this quick? I'm lying, making up some crazy excuse. Well, look, I had to pay for this, and I had to go buy books and all this other crazy. They said, well, listen, you getting to be a man now, brother, so you got to learn how to budget your money. So guess what? You short.
They cut you off.
They cut me off from my money supply. You know, that would have been a logical thing to say.
But he can't hold a job.
Get a job.
If you
That
hire.
would have been a logical thing to say. But I remember I was talking to my quote-unquote friends, and I say quote-unquote because there's a lot of people that we call friends that really ain't got our best interest at heart.
Very true.
There's a lot of people that you're walking around with in school today saying are my friends, but when you leave the school, they talking about you to the next person.
Yep.
That's true.
There's a lot of people who you saying are your friends, my ride or die, my right hand, all this other stuff. But the minute you're behind get in trouble, they gonna sing like a canary. Trust and believe that. A lot of people that you call friends, this my homeboy, this my ride or die, this my right hand right here. We gonna go down together, we gonna ride it out together. Yeah, all right. Okay. The minute you go ahead and get in trouble, and they put y'all in separate rooms, and that officer come in there and say, hey, listen, bro, here's what we gonna do. We gonna let you go. We just want your man over there. We just want info on your man over there. But you can go home. We just need you to tell us something. Oh, bro, you going to jail. He going home. And that's just how it's gonna be. Right hand man, I done seen brothers tell on brothers. Cousins tell on cousins, mothers tell on sons.
My Lord.
Seen it all. So all of that, this my homeboy, this my ride or die, all that's a bunch of foolishness.
Tell the truth.
Because yo gonna sit here and gonna sing like a bird on the stand the minute they throw 20 at him. Or an offer to let him go home. He gonna go home, sleep in his bed, kiss his girl, and go to sleep. And furthermore, he might show up at your girlfriend's house.
My Lord.
And knock on the door. Something we call dirty macking. And pull the joint like, hey, listen, sweetheart, you know the brother gonna be down a certain number of years. Listen, I just wanted to let you know, if you have any issues, here go my number. Just give me a call. We can talk. If you need a shoulder to cry on, I got you. But that's supposed to be your right hand man, though. Your homeboy, your ride or die. And don't think I'm telling you something that I don't know. Because all of that happened to me. All of that happened to me. So, while we up in Oakwood, my man puts me on to a nice little gimmick of how we can get some money. You know those nice little textbooks that the college students pay for? See, our little gimmick was, there's a store off of campus that they would let the students take their textbooks back and sell them at the store so that way you can get some money for your books for next semester. That's what our bright idea was. Still textbooks. So I was asleep in my bed, skipping chapel. First mistake. And my man called me and said, hey, bro, you need to come over to this building right now. I'm like, listen, man, can we do this later? I'm like, I'm in the bed. Man, listen, you need to get over here right now. All right, yo, I'm on the way. I get over there. It's like, yo, what was so important that you had to get me out my bed for, man? I was sleeping good. What's going on? I'm upset. All he does is stand in the doorway and points inside the classroom. I look in the classroom. Apparently, all the students that had gone to chapel who were coming back to that class decided they was going to leave all their book bags in the classroom.
The devil will be working.
And so, me and him proceeded to go get a big bag and loaded the bag up with every single textbook we could get our hands on. People left purses in there. We ran through every purse. We grabbed the cards. We grabbed the cash. We grabbed everything we can grab. And went off to the bookstore off campus and was selling the books.
Oh my God.
And I know the manager knew what we were doing, but he really didn't care. Because there's no reason why one person comes in with 6 biology textbooks, ain't none of them got his name in it. Don't check ID or nothing. Hey, what's your name? John Smith. All right, cool. Here go your money. So that was our little incident. We kept doing it. But again, what did I say at the beginning? The devil ain't never content with just a little bit of it. He want more and he want more. He ain't never content with just a piece. So we started getting worse. We started going to other campuses doing it. We started going to actual stores and shoplifting.
Jesus.
It just kept getting worse. It just kept getting worse. Until a night where both of us actually got caught. Stealing on Oakwood's campus. It had gotten so bad, they were passing out flyers on campus. Security was talking about, please lock your cars, lock this, that, and the third. We have a string of robberies going on around campus.
Oh my gosh.
It had gotten that bad. It was us doing it the whole time.
Jesus.
We ended up getting caught. And I got kicked out of Oakwood after only being there for 6 weeks.
Wow.
The devil.
That's not even too much.
Yes.
I was there for a total of 6 weeks before I had to call my mother and my father and tell them to come get me, because Oakwood said, we don't know where you're going, but you have to get out of here tonight.
You gotta go.
You must go tonight.
My Lord.
Of course, you can imagine my parents were heartbroken. On the way home,
I'll cry.
and you know, this is the worst part about it. I had gotten so callous with all the drugs and everything else going on, and that was the only thing really on my mind. Yo, as soon as I get home, I'm about to smoke a huge J and lay back.
Sick.
My mother's crying the entire way home. I'm so callous to the situation. This is how messed up I was. I was a disrespectful little something too. I should have got my head caved in for this. Because my mother's sitting there crying on the way home. I'm turning up the radio so I don't gotta hear her crying.
Help him, Lord.
I'm turning up the radio. Literally, she's crying. So I had gotten so, and God forgive me, and I've apologized to my mother 50 times over for this. But I literally turned down the radio and looked at her and was like, yo, do I gotta hear that the whole way home?
Oh, sick.
Disrespectful.
I was like, yo, I mean, it's not gonna get me back in school all the time. I mean, like, yo, do we gotta deal with this the whole way home? Like, seriously? Like, yo. And so I got back home, and my mother, after she got over, she had to get over the crying part. Once she got over the crying part, then the anger kicked in. You understand? She had to get the hurt part out the way. Once that got out the way, then Black Mama came into play.
Uh-oh. That's right.
So, she literally looked at me and said, let me tell you something, homeboy. She said, you got a week to get a job. She said, don't you think you coming home and sitting on my couch after getting kicked out of school? She was like, you got a week to get a job. She was like, don't have a job at the end of this week and I'm putting your stuff on the sidewalk. And she was like, try me, yo. You know I don't bluff.
Exactly.
Trust me, my mama ain't never bluffed a day in her life.
That's right.
Mama say she gonna do something, she gonna do it. Always has. So I knew she wasn't lying. All of a sudden, though, it's real crazy because all of a sudden I'm, Lord God, help me find a job. Wait a minute now, hold on. About 3 days ago, God wasn't nowhere in the mix. Now you want to beg God for a job. The crazy thing is, and this speaking to the goodness of the Lord actually helped me get a job. Ask me how long I lasted at the job. Probably about a month.
Did they ask me?
And I got fired for coming to work high.
Really?
And told myself that I was going to quit getting high. Till I found out my coworker sold weed.
Oh, God.
Let me tell you something. The minute that you sit there and tell the enemy, I'm not doing something anymore, trust and believe that'll be the time where it's going to get thrown in your face the most.
Yeah.
The time when you sit there and say, I'm done with this, I'm not doing that, it will become more readily available to you than ever before. You'll have people that'll sit there and be like, hey, listen, man, we no charge, yo. Here you go, on the muscle, that's your free. The minute you tell yourself you trying to quit something, got fired from that job. Ended up getting another job that I thought was more suited to me, because this job didn't really care what condition you came to work in, just so long as you got the job done. They didn't really care how you came to work. So I was working, getting higher than the gas prices. And going to work. The crazy part is, and all the stuff that I was doing, all the getting high, all the drinking, all the going out, the partying, the lifestyle I was living cost money. Yeah, I'm working, but guess what? I'm spending my paycheck faster than I can make it. I'm literally going through my paycheck in a matter of 2 to 3 days. And I don't get paid again for another 2 weeks. So I remember one day I was sitting in my room. I was sitting in my room thinking, and I was like, you know what, man, I gotta find some way to get some money. And I never forget, the enemy put it in my head. I never forget it. It was just a whisper. You know you could get a gun.
Jesus.
And I remember pushing it away. I said, you know what, nah, listen, that's a whole nother level of crime. And, you know, shoplifting and stealing and stuff, yeah, that's one level. You talking bringing a weapon into it, we looking at a whole nother degree of crime. A whole nother extra few years added on the end of that. Once you start adding weapons in the mix.
My God.
But the more I thought about it and pondered it in my mind, the more it started to actually make some sense.
The devil.
The enemy had begun to play with my mind so much that it actually started to look like a good idea.
Jesus.
But here's what I told myself, because I didn't actually have a real one at the time. But I had this one BB gun sitting around that kind of looked real. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this real quick, just to go grab some money till I can make it to my next paycheck.
My God.
And I went into a liquor store and robbed a liquor store.
Jesus.
Ran off, and I told myself, I'm never doing this again. Let me tell you one of the main tricks the enemy likes to use for you. I'm only going to try it just this once.
Jesus.
Or, I'm only going to do it one more time. Anybody who's ever told themselves, I'm just going to do it one more time, knows that one more time never comes. Then you tell yourself, I'm going to do it just one more time. Well, I'm going to do it just one more time. Well, I'm going to do it just one more time. And by the time you're done doing it just one more time, you've done it 50 times.
Jesus.
Or you tell yourself, I'm going to do it just this once.
It's true.
And so that was the lie that I fed into. I'm going to do it just this once. And I meant it at the time. Until I needed some more money. See, but remember I told you at the beginning, see, the enemy's not just content with just a little bit. He wants more.
He wants
and
all
more.
All
and more. And guess what? You know, sooner my mind started twisting and I started telling myself, you know what? Some of these store owners got licenses to carry the guns in the store. So you know what? If one of these store owners pulls a gun on me, this BB gun really ain't gonna cut it. That's what I decided to go do.
Oh no. Get a real one.
I go get a real one.
Yeah.
I tossed the BB gun and end up getting a Glock 9mm, fully loaded clip.
Jesus. My God. My God.
And continued to rob. As a matter of fact, I had gotten so tired of working my regular job and realized that I made my entire paycheck in the last 30 seconds, and here I was pulling 10-hour shifts. I went and quit the job and started doing that full time. That was my full-time job every morning. I literally would get up in the morning and say, who's getting got today? Somebody gonna get got today.
The devil was a liar.
And would literally drive around.
Oh my God.
And pick out places.
Jesus.
Look in. Oh yeah, they only got 2 people in there. All right, don't worry about it. Park the car around the way and run in there and go rob the people.
Jesus.
This became an everyday occurrence.
My God.
You know, God gives us so many warnings. So many chances. So many times that we could turn it around, and we just want to be hard-headed. And we don't want to listen. God gave me an opportunity, because when I was getting back into school, I went back to WAU. And when I went to go find out how much they were going to charge me, they said, oh, your scholarship is still active. They said, you're good.
My God.
They gave me my scholarship back.
God still has his hands on you.
But the enemy still had his hand on me.
Yep.
I was given chance after chance after chance. And I remember one day, we were in religion class, no doubt. And I remember messaging my man and said, yo, I'm about to go pull a move. You try and rock. He was like, yeah. Matter of fact, I know a place. So we went down to the store, left class, went down to the store. At this point, we were just getting bold with it, because we were like, man, we gotten away with it so much. We just got bold with it. The store was right down the street from the police station. We just got bold with it.
The devil.
So we went in there. There was too many people in the store, so I had told myself, nah, you know what, look, there's too many people in here. I ain't, crowd control. Like, nah. So I was like, we're going to find another spot. But as I was walking out, the two managers were sitting at the register counting up the money, because they were about to deposit it in the bank. So I kind of just told myself, you know what, y'all just did this to yourself. And went in and robbed the store.
My God.
Ran out, we got in the car, and we sped off. Apparently, somebody saw the plates on the car I was using. And so later on that day, me and my man, we had left, went to go get high. We were driving around. I went to go get some new parts put on the car. I'm telling you, look, I thought I was balling at the time. I'm in there, got money in my pocket. I'm putting new parts on the car. I'm doing all, put a new DVD screen in the jar. I had stuff, I had everything I thought I wanted. Thought I was living good. I even tried to come in the house and ball out. I tried to come in the house and throw my parents a couple bands. Just tossed it in the rubber band. I was like, hey,
Oh my
that's
God.
for y'all. Thinking I'm doing something. My mother threw it right back. Was like, I don't want no dirty money. Thought I was living a life. How many of y'all ever seen the movie War Room? Where they had the businessman. He went to go see his mother. She was in the old folks' home, and she was she had dementia. And he was talking to her and didn't think she would respond. And he said, I don't understand. I don't understand. And the Lord spoke to her. And she said, sin is like a padded cell. It looks real comfortable from the outside. Then you look in and start poking around in it. You say, hey, this looks pretty comfortable, until the door closes behind you.
Jesus.
And then you realize it's too late. And that's how it was for me. The enemy made it look so good. Man, thought I had everything I wanted. I had the popularity, I had the money, I had the girls, I had anything I wanted. Thought that's what I wanted out of life. And later on in the day, my father had called me. He said, hey man, listen, when you get home, we got to talk. I was like, well, listen, just tell me what it is now. One thing that's a real pet peeve with me, I really hate when people do that. Like, tell me I got to tell you something later.
Later.
Just tell me what it is now. No, I'll tell you later. And I wish you really wouldn't have told me at all. Like,
Right.
Until later. Because now I'm going to be sitting here the whole time thinking about what you got.
Me too.
So he was like, no, man, I'm gonna just talk to you later. I was like, all right, man. I hung up the phone. I went back to school to drop my man off, because he stayed on campus.
Oh God.
And my homegirl
Christian
came
college.
up to me and said, yo, G, she said, the boys was here looking for you. I was like, what boys was looking for who? She said, the police was here looking for you, son. I was like, for what? She was like, they were around here asking what classes you had, where were you, what color is your car? And so I instantly knew what my father wanted to talk about. I picked up the phone and called him. He said, listen, man, I'm going to just talk to you later. I said, Dad, you ain't even got to say nothing. I said, they came to the house, didn't they? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, yo, what are you out there doing? I said, I'll talk to you later. And so, you know, now I gotta come clean. I mean, the police start sniffing around. I gotta come tell my parents everything I've been doing for the past 3, 4, 5 months.
God, that's the worst.
I gotta tell them, yeah, your son has been out here robbing people for the last 4 or 5 months. October 15th, 2012, I was on my way to class. And I saw the lights come on behind me. And I pulled over, and so did like 3 other cars in front of me because we thought he was just trying to get around. But as soon as I pulled over, he came right behind me. Right behind him was another cop car. Came up beside of me. Right behind that one was a third one. Blocked me in the front. Every last one of them came out the car with M16s, pointed at my head, screaming, get out the car, get out the car. I almost lost my life.
Jesus.
Because I went to get out the car, realized I had my seatbelt on, and went to undo my seatbelt, and I reached back for it.
Oh, God.
I reached back for the seatbelt, and all I heard him scream was, yo, he's reaching for something, he's reaching for something.
Jesus.
So I quickly threw my hands back up out the window and said, listen, yo, I got a seatbelt on, what you want me to do? They started aiming in the car, looking down, said, all right, go ahead, undo it slowly. They dragged me out the car, threw me on the ground. They took me away to jail. Come to find out, 3 different counties in Maryland had warrants for my arrest.
Jesus.
Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and Anne Arundel County.
Our Lord.
And I'll never forget the day that my mother first came to visit me in jail. Her and my father. And she put her hand up against that glass. And I went to put my hand up against that glass. And she picked up the phone. I picked up the phone. And she looked me dead in my eyes and she said, baby, it's just you and Jesus now.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
Because mama can't help you no more.
God have mercy.
Said your mother, your father and me tried our entire life. Did everything we thought was right to get you to do the right thing. She said, but you on your own now. She said, because we can't do this time for you. I went to Prince George's County first. They gave me 15, all suspended for 3. Anne Arundel gave me a straight 5. Montgomery County gave me 18, all suspended for 12.
Jesus.
You know, people always ask me all the time, how was prison?
God.
Was hell. To be honest with you, prison is prison, hell is hell, and between the two, I think prison is worse. Imagine the little things that you take for granted on the daily are all gone. That getting up in the middle of the night, going downstairs to get something out the refrigerator, that's dead. That comfortable bed you sleeping on, oh, that's dead. My mattress is probably about this wide, about this thin, that I had to sleep on for 5.5 years. Being able to shower by yourself, that's dead. Being able to walk in the restroom and close the door and have your privacy to yourself, that's dead. Because now you got a cell buddy. And if you think that you can knock on the door, hey, excuse me, officer, can you let me out the cell real quick while my cell buddy uses the restroom? Hey. All the little things that you take for granted is all gone now. Off of bad choices. And I didn't have to be there. But because of bad choices I made, I ended up in a situation that I told myself I'd never be in. Facing all that time. May not seem like it's a long time to some of y'all. 5 years feels is a long time to sit behind some bars. And the mind games they play with you. You do what you're told, when you're told to do it.
How's the sound?
Talk back if you want to. You're going to get that mace put in your face. Pepper spray.
Oh, mace.
They're gonna pepper spray you right in your face, and then they're going to drag you off to the hole. Solitary. Solitary is they put you in a room with literally nothing. You have no books, no paper, no pen, you have nothing. You're in there with your physical person only. And I've seen guys do up to a year in the hole.
Jesus. You can go crazy like that.
That's the intention. I've seen guys do up to a year in the hole. They literally don't give you anything. They bring your food to the cell. They might let you out, I don't know, every 2 days or so for a shower. They have bathrooms in the cell. All of that picky choosing that y'all do with your food and stuff. Oh, I like this, I don't like that. Man, check this out. You eat what's given to you, or you just don't eat it. Simple as that. Well, listen, brother, I don't eat this. Well, whose problem is that? Starve, bro. We giving you food. You don't want to eat it, that's on you. This is the only place I ever seen them try to give people cheese sandwiches and call it a meal. It's not even grilled cheese, y'all. I'm talking about 2 slices of bread, 2 pieces of cheese, and here goes your sandwich. No.
So was it hot?
It wasn't even grilled cheese. The cheese wasn't even melting. Straight out the fridge. 2 slices of cheese, 2 pieces of bread. That's your meal.
Welcome to prison.
You get a cheese sandwich. You get a cheese sandwich. That's your meal. All that picky eating the food is disgusting. I'm letting you know now. The food. I literally had to train my mind and tell myself, food is meant to keep me alive, not to taste good. That's the place I had to get in my mind and tell myself, this is meant so I don't die. This is not meant to taste good. I literally had to train my mind to stop tasting food. Just put it in your mouth and swallow it.
Lord have mercy.
Just eat the food. That's a terrible place to have to get to.
My God.
They tell you when your family can come see you.
God.
You telling the woman that bore me when she gets to see me. You have to pay for the phone calls. I don't get no free phone calls home. You got to put money on the phone.
Commissary.
You have an account, or you have your inmate account that we get. You can get jobs. I had a job working in the kitchen. Anybody want to take a wild guess what my pay was?
Oh gosh.
1 cent. 1 cent.
I got paid $1.05 a day. Somebody asked me one time, said, "When you get paid an hour?" I said, "You find a jail that pays by the hour, brother." I said, you in good shape. I was in there pulling 10-hour shifts a day for $1.05. $32.55 a month is what I got. Newsflash, they don't give you soap and all of that stuff.
Oh God.
You gotta buy all of that with the money that you work for. You gotta buy soap, you gotta buy toothpaste, you gotta buy all the toiletries and stuff that you need. They make you pay for that. And guess what? Because they know that you have no other option but to go to them to buy it, guess what they do to the prices? They charge you about double what it is in the store. So you know those little ramen noodles that you can go in there and get for 5 cents? Yeah, in the county jail, those are $1 a piece. In the county jail, they were $1 a piece. Even in the prison, it was a little better. They were 30 cents a piece. But that's literally 6 times what they are in the store. A tube of toothpaste that may cost you $1.50 at the store, they were charging us $3 for.
Wow.
Because they knew we had no other option but to go to them. So guess what? The money that I just slaved for the entire month, I now have to give right back to them.
Yep.
And so the cycle keeps going. So you never really make any money. But that's what I had to do to survive. I got you. That's what I had to do to survive. I was talking to the young lady right here, and I was telling her, I said, it's a very hard thing to be a Christian in prison. Not because they look down on Christians or anything like that, but because my Christian principles would tell me that if someone says something to me or calls me out my name or something like that, my Christian principles will tell me to turn the other cheek and walk away. In prison, that's social suicide. Because you literally have other people watching to see what you're going to do. And if you don't react, he can be played with.
He's a punk.
You a punk, essentially. So the next time you go to get food in commissary, you got somebody coming up to you, hey, yo, kick all that out. I need all of that. So you literally are forced to act in a way that you don't even really want to act. It may not even be that serious to you, but because you know people are watching, now I kind of got to hit this man. That's 6'4" and 250 pounds, and I'm my size, but because other people are watching, now I got to act out.
I got to beat him up.
Now I got to make an attempt. I got to make an attempt. It's a sad thing to go into a fight and tell yourself, I'm going to lose. And I'm going to lose terribly, but I'm going to make a good show of it. That's literally where you are at. Matter of fact, give me 4 people to come up real quick. It don't matter, just 4. Give me 4.
Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. All right, that's 4. Go. All right. Y'all can't count. Okay, wait. 3 people have to leave. Okay, so choose who you want now.
Take the 4 closest to you. Tamia, Jasmine,
2 boys, 2
right,
girls.
let me get the 2. Y'all 2, them 2.
All right. Sorry. No hate. Go have a seat.
Them 2 and these 2.
Tamia. Be obedient, mama. Come on. Thank you. All right.
If you could stand right here. Yep. Stand right here.
Go,
You
Jordan.
stand right there. Stand right there. You about. Let me see something. You about right here. And you right here.
This is so.
Take 1 step that way. No. About half a step.
Oh, it's a feedback because
Yep.
I'm close to them. Uh-oh.
That was the size of my cell. We got 2 bunks in there, a big dresser right here, the toilet and the sink right there, and the door right there. And 2 grown men sleeping in this joint. The toilet and the sink right here, the dresser right here, the 2 bunks. The walkway that I had to walk in was probably about this big. Y'all listen to them. Thank you. That was the size of my cell.
The gay talk.
That was the size of my living conditions. Just imagine having to go in your closet and lock yourself in there. And if something happens in the prison where the jail is on lockdown, like somebody gets stabbed or something crazy, they'll lock the jail down. And you'll literally be in the cell for about a week or 2. And they might let you out every 3 days to take a shower. And they bring your food to you. You do not leave the cell for those 2 weeks. You sit in there for 2 weeks, laying on your bunk. You might have a conversation with your cell buddy or whatever y'all doing. I was actually lucky to get the time that I got.
take questions at
We're going to do questions at the end. I was lucky to get the time that I got. My cell buddy to this day still calls me.
Don't forget.
I talk to him almost every week. He has life, no parole. Means he ain't never coming home.
Yeah, that means he doesn't even get like a chance to get
That means he stays in jail for the rest of his life. No chance of parole means he has no chance to ever get out. He is going to die in prison.
My God.
He calls me every week to check to see how I'm doing. The man has life, no parole. For doing this, almost the same thing that I was doing. He actually went in to rob the people and was just attempting to knock the person out, hit him in the back of the head, was attempting to knock him out so he could steal the money, and happened to hit him too hard. And the individual passed away.
Jesus.
And he got life, no parole.
No. The person died. The person died.
So he will spend the rest of his days in prison for a mistake. For one bad choice.
Bad choice. Yeah.
One wrong decision. And his life is gone now. One choice is all it takes.
Yep.
One bad decision. 30 seconds of not thinking and this man's whole life is gone. 30 seconds of not being able to, of not thinking clearly and going and making a foolhardy decision, his life is over. I would wake up in the middle of the night to hear him crying and would ask him, I say, man, what's going on, man? What's up? He said, I'm locked up, man. That's what's wrong. He said, I've been in prison 28 years.
Jesus.
He said, I've missed my sons growing up. I've missed my daughters growing up. My daughters have walked down the aisle and I couldn't walk them down. My daughter was in an abusive relationship and the dude was beating her up and I can't do nothing about it because I'm in prison. Matter of fact, one of the guys that I knew that was in there, he got out probably a year before I did. He was in prison 46 years.
Jesus.
Before they let him out. Now he's an old man. He's, of course, he's about 80, close to 80 years old. Can't really see well, but has literally spent all of his life in prison. One bad choice. All of the guys that I hung around in there were lifers. My other man, he still calls me. He has life plus 20.
How?
I don't understand how they do those sentences, but they'll give you a life plus some time, just in case you go back to court and they take back the life. You still have the 20 to deal with.
Oh my gosh.
So they give you life plus 20. I'm like, as if I'm going to outlive the life. So when I'm going to die and come back to life and I got to stay in prison.
What?
They literally are intending for those guys never to get out.
Never.
I know guys in there right now that have double life, triple life.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I often do a presentation and I show a video of a guy. It was in Florida. He was 15 years old and got 3 life sentences.
Jesus. 15.
At 15. So for those of you who think that, oh, I'm young enough, they can't do anything to me. Yeah, that's all the way dead. You think that they can't touch you because of your age. Your choices matter.
Yes. Tell them.
Even at this age.
Tell them. Listen.
Even at this age. And if you don't start practicing how to make good decisions now, you're going to be short when you get my age. Because now I got something that I got to deal with the rest of my life. I got felonies on my record. 6 felonies. They charged me and I got convicted of 6 armed robberies. And 3 wearing and carrying of handgun charges. Those felonies don't ever come off. Those don't ever go away. It doesn't matter what I do in this life. It doesn't matter how many degrees I get. It don't matter how many PhDs I get. It doesn't matter what happens. I will still be labeled a felon for the rest of my life with those 6 felonies. Do not make permanent decisions for temporary pleasures.
My God.
Do not make permanent decisions for temporary pleasures.
It's not worth it.
You guys are out here. Some of you, I don't know if you are. If you are, take heed. You out here making some crazy decisions that'll land you in a place you really don't want to be.
Very true.
Anybody in here been locked up before? My point exactly.
Don't get locked up.
Don't none of y'all have an idea of what's coming down the pipe, and don't none of y'all want none of it.
No.
I'm telling you that from first-hand experience. Been there, done that, you don't want it. Trust and believe you don't want it. The agony and pain of having to watch your mother and father walk out the visiting hall and knowing you can't go with them. They get to go home and sleep in their beds, and I got to go back and deal with this CO sitting in here. Correctional officer. That sit there and disrespect you, call you out your name, will call your mother out her name.
Jesus.
Just to try to get you to react. And if you do react, they'll write the report and say, well, he just lunged at me. I don't know what happened. He just spazzed out. And who do you think they're going to believe? My point. Exactly. So you got to sit there and deal with this man calling you out your name, disrespecting you, calling your mother outside her name, and can't do nothing about it. Because they going to win. You in their house. They going to win. But apparently, based off of some of the decisions that are being made, apparently that's where some of us want to go. You can say with your mouth, oh, I don't want to go to prison, but your actions are saying different. Your actions are saying, sign me up.
My Lord.
Sign me up for the nasty food. Sign me up for having to be stuck in a cell with another grown man or grown woman, because they do have female correctional facilities, or grown woman. Sign me up for the messed up treatment. Sign me up for all the mess that comes with prison. Sign me right on up. That's what our actions are saying when we making bad choices. We asking for each and we asking for it. Sign me up for it. I'm telling you, you don't want it.
You don't.
Think about your choices. I know this is such a cliche that think before you act, but it is so true. It is so real. Think before you act. Because your decisions can land you in a place that you don't ever want to be in.
Very true.
I'm going to just go ahead and throw this in there. I wasn't even going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to throw it in there. You know what happens after your family leaves? Oh, every time your family comes to visit you after they leave, the prison rules are, from the guards have to strip search you. Oh, yeah. You have to strip search them? You have to strip, the guards got to strip search you. Because they have to make sure your family didn't give you anything. Like drugs or whatever.
Weapons.
Even though it's pretty impossible for it to happen.
For them to bring it in.
No, in prison they don't actually have the glass. The glass is only in the jails. Once you get to the prison level, it's a little more contact. But they strip search you every time.
So you got to be naked.
Which means that a grown man for the guys, or a grown woman for the women, take you in a room and have you hand them one piece of clothing at a time until you are completely in your birthday suit.
My God.
While they sit and inspect every part and every crevice you have.
Jesus.
And then they hit you with the kicker at the end of it.
Cough.
Turn around, squat, and cough.
You're dead.
David.
Making sure you ain't hiding nothing, bro.
I'll explain later.
That's what happens every time your family comes to see you. I gotta go through that. You gotta go through that every time.
Embarrassing.
And there is no saying no. Or you can tell the guard no if you want to. They gonna mace you, take you to the hole, and then they gonna strip search you themselves. Again, your choices. None of you ever have to experience prison. But you got to check your choices right now. None of you ever have to end up in that place. None of you ever have to end up going through that hell. But you got to check your choices today. Because God forbid, somebody in here is one bad choice away from getting put in them bracelets.
My God.
And getting taken to jail. Somebody in here, and I don't even know who it is, but I just feel it's somebody in here. The minute they leave this place has an idea that they about to go do something crazy. I'm not picking anybody out. But if you are that person, I beg you to reconsider.
Please.
Because you never know which mistake gonna be your last. And if you think that judge gonna have some sympathy for you, you think that judge gonna have some sympathy for you? That man don't care nothing about you. That judge gonna go home, kiss his wife, go to sleep, hand you life, and enjoy the rest of his evening. And not think twice about you. And don't let him find out that you grew up in church.
Ooh.
Oh, because they're really going to be like, oh, so you should have known better. Yeah, give me an extra 10 for that one. See, I thought it was going to play in my favor that, oh, I was in school, you know, my father's a pastor and stuff like that. Oh, man, that really worked outside of my favor. Because they were like, oh, great. So you had a good upbringing, knew better, and you still went and met. Got you. Got you. You know, and any of you who actually know anything about Montgomery County, let me throw this out there. Montgomery County is in the top 4 richest counties in the United States. Not even in Maryland, in the United States. Top 4 richest counties. And don't necessarily look like me, if you understand what I'm saying. So imagine that. They said, oh, so here this young brother want to come down and think he gonna rob something? Oh, we gonna make an example out of you. Y'all gotta understand what reality is. The reality of the situation is they gunning for you. Growing up my entire life, my mother always said, you have 2 strikes already. You black and you male. You give them a 3rd one, that's it. They gunning for you already. And our young ladies, they gunning for you. And will not think twice about locking you up and throwing away the key. It's about your choices. It's about your decisions. One choice away. I wrote a book while I was locked up. And I came home and I got it published. Everybody in here is leaving with one.
Amen.
Everybody in here is leaving with a copy.
Hand clap.
The book is called One Choice Away. It's called One Choice Away, and on the front of the cover it says, every choice has a cost. What will yours cost you?
My God.
Think about that. What is my choice going to cost me? It's all fun and games while we out there think we having a good time. But when it comes time to pay up, it's not fun anymore. Each and every one of you in here is one choice away
Yes, Lord.
From making a decision that I'm going to knuckle down and do what's right, get my grades together, do good in school, or you one choice away from making that other choice. No, I'm gonna slough off in school. I'm an actor. I'm gonna go around hanging with friends, go do stuff I know I shouldn't be doing, that I know is wrong. They're both choices. But the decision is yours. But don't say, if you make the wrong choice, I didn't know.
Oh, Lord.
Because each and every one of you in here sat and heard me tell you what's coming down the pipe. And it may not happen the first time. It may not happen the second time. But I promise you, eventually, you will get caught. And you will have to pay the piper.
Jesus.
It's going to come. So the choice is yours. Do what you know is right, or do what you know is wrong. But if you choose to do what you know is wrong, don't say I didn't know when the consequences come. Don't cry when the consequences come. Don't complain when the consequences come. Don't say, Mama, I wish I had it. No. Because I'm telling you. And now you know. And if you still decide to make that choice, and I pray to God that nobody in here does, I pray to God sincerely, I wouldn't wish prison on my worst enemy. That's how much I hated it. My cell buddy used to tell me, I'm glad you hate prison. And I got mad at him. I was like, man, why? What you mean? You're glad, you happy about that? He said, remember this when you get out there. He said, you get out of here and you don't ever come back. He said, you stay home. And you remember guys like me who got to stay here for the rest of our lives from a bad choice. Choice is yours. We're going to do questions.
Can we have a mic for the question and then?
I'm going to start over here and we're going to work over it. That's how we're going to do it. They getting the mic for the, well, in the meantime here.
Here, David, use the mic.
So, like, said that the 50-year-old had, like, 3 life sentences. So, like, did he have, like the minor life sentence, or did he have, like, an adult life sentence?
Adult life sentence.
Because, like, I thought that, like, kids, they get, like, 21, right?
They can, depending on the crime. They can charge you as an adult. They can still charge you as an adult. They can give you juvie time, but they can charge you as an adult. You don't have to be 18 for them to charge you as an adult. Be 16, 15. There's actually quite a few dudes I was incarcerated with that got locked up when they were 15, and they're 50-something now and still in.
Did you have it like free time? Like, cause you know, like you can lift weights and like kick basketball.
There was time. There was free time. Lift weights. You can go out. You know, go into the yard, lift weights if you wanted to. They have recreation time. It's like a couple hours a day, a few hours a day. They let you out for recreation. Unless something's going on in the jail, then the first thing they're gonna do is cut rec time, lock everybody in.
Like when you guys bought like the supplies you needed, like I was wondering like what like the size of the toothpaste, like what was it?
Wait.
It was about probably like half. Some of them were like half the size of the ones that are in the store and cost like double the price.
Travel size.
Yeah. Them small ones.
They have a parent.
Some of them, they actually had the regular sizes, but those, of course, they cost a whole bunch of money. They're like $4 for the regular size tube of toothpaste, like $4.
Can I ask
Yeah.
Did you get into any fights while you were in jail?
Did I?
Wait, no, stop, don't do that.
You said, did I?
Yeah, or did you like see any really bad fights or anything like
Out
that?
of necessity, I had to actually get in a couple.
Did you win?
Let's just
Demia,
say I made an example of whoever it was, and that was the end of all of my problems.
please stop.
I made the, I had, and a couple of times I didn't really necessarily have a choice. Yet, did I see any really bad ones? Yes, I seen a couple people lose their life.
My God.
I actually saw one guy get stabbed to death in front of me.
Jesus.
So, yes, I have seen it. And to this day, I still have nightmares about going back to prison. Ask my wife. There are times I wake up in the middle of the night and sit there sweating. And she'll be like, what's going on? I was like, another nightmare. She's like, about what? I went back.
And one more quick question. I know you, initially when we spoke, you had like a 10-year sentence, but you came out in 5.5, or what was that?
I had all of those sentences combined. What ended up happening was I filed in the courts to get the drug program, which is the 8505. It's a mental health and hygiene program. It's like a drug rehab, and what they do is if you complete it, they will suspend the rest of your sentence and let you go home.
Amen.
So it's kind of like a get out of jail free card for some people. So people be trying to fake all the time so they can get the program, just so they can get out. But if you don't complete it, if you do anything in that program to mess up, you're going back to jail and you getting the rest of your time. Simple as that.
Wow.
That's like your one shot. And I told the judge, all I need is that one shot. And I took that one shot and made it home.
Amen. Amen.
There was a question earlier about the age. When I worked for the Department of Prisons in Indian Springs, Nevada, we had our youngest kid was 13 in the state prison. He was involved in a murder, and a judge sentenced him severely. So when he came to our prison, he was 13. We had to put him in isolation away from, the regular inmates on the yard. So it can be 13. It can be young.
So don't think just because of your age, oh yeah, I'm young enough, they can't do nothing to me.
All right, who got the mic?
He does.
Like, if you was in the cell, the hole, how would you keep time of how long you're supposed to be in there? And how you know you're going to get out?
Depending on whatever you did, they'll tell you what your sentence is. So they'll tell you, be like, yo, you're getting 3 months in the hole. And then not only do they give you time in the hole, they take your good time from you. So you accumulate good time like every month. They give you like 5 extra days a month or something like that if you're working and stuff. So what they'll do is they send you to the hole. Not only do they send you to the hole for 3 months, but yeah, we taking 4 months worth of your good time.
So you got marker, you mark the walls.
That's pretty much how you gonna figure it out. Otherwise, you ain't got no clock in there, so you just, you see the sun go up and the sun go down. Okay, it's a day.
Yeah. So what do you do now? Like right now, since it's like, is it hard to get a job now?
Every job I've applied for, I've gotten turned down because of my record. Because I have those felonies now that won't ever go away. What I'm actually doing now, and this is amazing to me, the restorative power of Christ.
Amen. Speak on it.
Because I prayed before I got out and said, Lord, order my steps. And just place everything in order for me when I get home, so that everything will be in line and in order.
Amen.
And when I came home, 22 days later, I was enrolled as a full-time student at Bowie State University.
Amen.
Where I'm still going, and I'm set to graduate with my bachelor's in accounting next year.
Hand clap, hand clap, hand clap.
All right, I got one more. The other thing I do is on the weekends, I actually travel around to different states and do this.
Amen.
So I do motivational speaking on the weekends. So.
Who has the mic next? Okay, go ahead.
So what do your parents like say to you now, when you got out?
Well, they're my parents are extremely happy, extremely proud now to see that I'm doing well, to see that I've, come back, I'm back in church, doing as I should be doing, and they seeing how my testimony is benefiting others. And it's really making them proud to see that I, turned things around by the grace of God. Came home, got myself together, got married, praise God.
Amen.
Just go ahead and wave. They keep looking over there trying to figure out who you are. So that's my wife over there.
Amen.
You should really make a movie.
Well, there's a book.
From your lips to God's ears,
Amen.
brother. I've had about 6 people tell me that, so
That's
I'm
right.
actually praying to the Lord that the Lord will make a way that can actually happen.
That's next. Praise God. Who has the mic? Oh, Labai, go ahead. Let Labai go and then somebody
Let
else
me
go.
touch on that also when you were talking about what am I doing now.
Guys.
Making a mistake is not the end.
Amen.
If you do make a mistake, don't think that this is all there is to my life.
Stop.
You can recover from a mistake.
Man.
Even in prison, my cell buddy was going to school and he ended up getting his degree and everything while he was in. Even though he said, you know, I'm not going home, I'm going to do something to still better myself. So the mistake is not the end. The mistake is not the end. I could have come home and said, well, you know what, yeah, they're not going to give me no job. It's just, I'm going to just give up. But by the grace of God, I said, you know what, I'm not going to let this experience hold me back. I'm going to make something of myself. And that was something I promised my grandparents in the courtroom. Because at the time, my grandparents were 86 when I got sentenced.
Jesus.
And so I literally thought to myself, my grandparents are going to die while I'm in prison. And I told them in the courtroom, if you guys are not alive to see me come home, I said, I promise you this, that one, I will do something great in my life. And then two, you're going to see me again.
Thank you.
I promised them that in the courtroom. And by God's grace, they were alive to see me come home.
Amen.
They're 90, both of them are 93 now. And they lived long enough to see me come home and see me get it together. But that was a promise that I made them. And I promised my mother for the school, I said, you watched me walk across a courtroom enough. I said, this time you will get to see me walk across the stage for graduation.
Amen.
I said, that I promise you.
Amen. Amen.
January. January of this year.
Amen. Look at God. Labai, go ahead.
Did you ever, like, after you got out, did you ever, like, almost slip up again?
Temptation never quits.
The devil.
Let me tell you something. The enemy is on call 24 hours a day. The devil don't need no sleep. They ain't like us. He don't have to sleep to regenerate. The devil don't need no sleep. He is on duty 24 hours a day. I would lie. I would be sitting here lying to you if I told you I still don't get tempted from time to time. I'd be lying if I told you temptation doesn't come and I don't, have thoughts that take me back to that place. But after being there, I already know what it's going to bring. And so I quickly dismiss that. You know what? We've been here before. We've done this before. This is where it led. I'm not going back there. And I dismiss it. But does the temptation still come? Absolutely.
Yes, true.
Absolutely. If anything, it comes more. Nah. I can't, bro. I'm on probation. I got probation for the next 5 years. I smoke a lick of weed, man. I'm going back to prison for 20 years. That's how much backup time I have.
God.
I'm going back to prison for 20 years. I smoke a lick of weed and go in there. I'm getting 20 years and that's it.
Over here. Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I stay off campus, that's why. You go to Bowie? Oh, I ain't never seen you on campus. That's cool. Okay.
Small world. Huh?
See, that's how much I don't be on campus. I go to school, do my schoolwork, and get off campus. That's why.
26.
They smoke weed around that place like nobody's business, man.
She's pregnant. His wife is pregnant.
Like, excluding the sandwich with the 2 cheese, what else would you get?
Wow.
Really, just just bland food.
Nasty.
Like they'll give you unseasoned stuff. You know how any of y'all like, your mother make the good greens and stuff and all of that. Oh, just imagine like plain greens. Like there's no seasoning, no nothing. It's just plain greens, plain this, plain that. Everything is plain. There's no seasoning and nothing. No, it's nothing. It just tastes like yeah. It's disgusting. Or they just make up something. They'll have like 6 weeks or 6 days of leftover stuff and throw it together and make some crazy soup, some casserole or some soup. And that's what you're getting.
Shh. All right, guys. Wait. Oh, okay. Can you?
Whew, what did I do my first day out? Went and laid in my bed and went and ate some food, some good food.
Yes.
Man, I tried to eat. I tried to hurt myself. I ain't gonna
Everything.
lie to you. I tried to eat everything I could get my hands on. I said, listen, I got everything. I was like, we going here for lunch, here for breakfast, we're going here for dinner. I want a snack over there. I tried to hurt myself eating all that food. I wanted some good food, and I wanted to lay down in a decent bed. That's all I wanted, man. Really, that's all I wanted. I tell you, McDonald's ain't never tasted so good in my life.
Can we have 2 more questions, then we're going to go into a season of prayer before we have 2. So, go ahead.
How old are you?
I was 19 when I went in.
Right now, right now.
I was 19 when I went in.
5 and a half.
26 now.
I was about to say 26. Oh my God.
So there's, so we had a couple.
He said 1 more. She said 2. That was 1. So we got 1
Yeah,
more.
hold on. There's a couple people that were watching on Facebook Live.
Oh, questions
and,
online.
They had some general comments, but I'll just summarize. They wanted to comment to you guys, saying that you guys need to soak as much of this information in
As possible, yeah.
Really receive it. A hard head makes a soft bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So what he's sharing with you is not. I know the comment came up about a movie, right? It'd be cool to see it played out, in a movie. But he's not here sharing his testimony to glamorize his experience.
Right.
Right? He's trying to tell you that you don't have to go through what he went through. Right? And if you notice, if you're really paying attention, he didn't start off by saying that he began his criminal activity with a gun. Right? He started off small. Right? And little by little, he got more and more bold, or the experience, he got more courage to do bigger and bigger things, to ultimately armed robbery, right? And that's what ended up kind of getting put away. So while you guys may sit here and say, well, I'm not doing any of that stuff, right? Maybe there is something that you're doing that when you take it a little further, and you take it a little further, and you take it a little further, to where I love an example of the padded cell. It looks comfortable until next thing you know, the door is closed behind you, and you're just caught up in that life. So don't miss the message of what he's trying to share. Who has their hand up for the last question? Jordan? Did you ask one already?
You had a question, Morgan? Yes. All right. We can still take questions. We're just trying to wrap it up so we can get into prayer before,
Okay, do you guys have sports? Like kickball? Really?
You made me.
Stop! She asking a question. There's no bad question.
Actually, yes, they do. They got intramural sports, actually. They try to, it's inmate run, so the inmates will try to, do something so we don't go nuts. So
Right.
we'll make our own intramural leagues, for basketball.
Right.
We actually, they have a field out there with a track around it, so we'll go out there and, run, or we'll work out, or they actually have soccer matches and stuff out there. They try to do something just so we can get out some type of energy, and, we don't have to go stark raving mad. But yes, they do. We have sports not organized by the jail, but they're organized by the inmates. We make up our own leagues and teams and stuff just so we can, it's healthy competition, try to, have something to do.
Can I ask one before the other person asks? What is the most important message that you would say that you can take away from your experience, this entire experience? What's that
Me
one
personally?
thing? Yes.
Make good choices. Make good choices. And it sounds like it's just simple, but it really isn't. Make good choices. Because it doesn't matter where you come from. The wrong choice will land you in a whole heap of mess. Make good choices. And the other one, there's probably another one that goes with that, is God restores.
Man, that's our song too. That's our song.
God restores, because literally the Lord has given me back everything I had before,
Amen.
times 2.
Jesus, amen.
It's like the Job situation where he lost everything. And then it says when, the later days of Job's were greater than the first. You know, and the Lord gave him back double everything that he had before. And so that's truly been my experience. God has truly given me back double everything that I had before. Everything that I allowed the enemy to take from me, the Lord has given back and more.
And you also have to be able to survive what you're going through, because if you're going through that experience, it can kill you. You can take your own life. You know, you could have. To
be honest, I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't contemplate it on more than one occasion. While I was in,
you gotta live through.
On one occasion, I actually had the sheet tied up.
My God.
And was ready to do it. And I was surrounded by some Christian brothers of mine that really, you know, kept an eye on me, kept watch over me, and the Lord really didn't let me go in that situation.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
I literally was ready to. I had gotten to the point where I remember calling home saying, "Ma, I can't do no more time, yo. I'm mentally drained at this point. I can't do no more time. I just can't." And I was ready to hang it up.
My Lord.
I was ready to hang it up.
But amen. Thank God you didn't.
But the Lord kept hold of me.
But God. Amen.
God kept hold of me.
Amen.
Jordan, last one.
Were you married while you were still in prison?
No, I actually got married October the 4th.
Amen. The 4th, not the 24th.
How? You got out this year?
Yes.
January.
Got out January.
David, stop.
Okay, so on technicality, I actually left prison on October the 4th. So I left prison October the 4th, went to the program, that drug program, and did 3 months there. So then I got out of the drug program January 4th. So that's
Amen.
why, I actually went to my house in January, but I left the prison on October the 4th and went to the program. And while I was at the program, I was going to a church out here in La Plata.
Wow.
Springs of Living Water Church of Restoration.
Wow.
And that's where I met my wife at.
Amen.
So I met her there. That's how that happened. Actually, our sister organization, I have a ministry, this ministry back here. And you saw the
signage.
The pop-up outside.
Yes.
REBAL Ministries that I started. It stands for Recognizing Every Burden and Alleviating the Load.
Amen.
So it's spelled REBAL, but I play off of the word, rebel. So that's why I got the hashtag Rebel for Christ.
Amen. I love it.
REBAL Ministries, we have three main focuses. We have prison ministry, youth mentoring, and prison reentry. And we've just partnered with another organization to really try to reach the young people, man, because we understand that, life circumstances and things do happen, but we still want to try to help them and lead and guide them so they don't make some of the mistakes that we have made. And the organization that we just partnered with is Higher Altitude. And its founder right there, Mr. Alex Richardson, go ahead and wave your hand. Mr. Alex Richardson, he is the founder of Higher Altitude. So we just partnered with them to, get our youth mentoring and things out of the underway. And we also have some other members, a part of Higher Altitude and a part of Springs of Living Water, my church that I go to. So they came out to support. So I really thank you guys for coming out to support this evening. Thank my wife. Love you.
Oh, okay. So, can we all just form up in a group of 3 and 4s, and we're gonna pray together. We're gonna pray for Mr. Garhett. You'd rather call him Garhett. And so if we can all just get together, we're gonna pray for him, but we're gonna pray for God's just His direction, and that He will help us to make the right decision.
Can we have the adults
forming some groups?
Each group
Right.
of young people.
Right.
So as the young people form up, the adults can just gravitate to one of the groups of the young people.
Also, at the end, don't forget to stop by the table out here and see me so you can each pick up your book on the way out.
And remember, we had some prayer requests earlier. If you could remember those requests.
Guys, I'm about to sign off. Please keep our youth group in prayer. And please keep Mr. Adams in prayer as well as he continue to do the work of the Lord. Bless you all.